Hello and welcome to another episode of Gaming Reviews, where this week I'm going to be taking a look at Phantom Squad. So as always, I just want to start off by thanking the team over at Game.Press and the developers Control Freak for letting us have a key for review purposes. The game was released on the PC on the 18th of July and at time of recording was selling for £11.99. The game is a top-down tactical shooter where you can play solo or with up to 3 friends. But as I'll go on to after, I think it was really meant for co-op play. I played on the Steam Deck and for me had no issues with it on that system, and it plays like a twin stick shooter, so your movement of the character is going to be with the left stick, the right stick will be your aiming, and you get the classic 360 degree range of aiming. The firing is with the right trigger, X or reload, B button interacts with objects on screen, and swapping between your various items, equipment and weaponry is by a dedicated button which will be displayed at the bottom of the screen. So before I get into the game itself, I'm going to talk about solo mode, which is how I played it. And I've got to be honest here, it's tough. Well, I found it tough anyway. After I completed the tutorial, I jumped into the first level, which is called Die Hard. And yeah, I did die a lot of times and I couldn't get past it. So I'll be honest, I just couldn't get past the first level. You can host a lobby, you can join one with a code or even find a squad on Discord. I didn't get the opportunity to try that because I hadn't fully set up Discord on my Steam Deck at the time. But the reason for the difficulty is the challenge comes from a mix of super aggressive enemies, limited ammo, and basically having to do everything yourself. So if you're thinking of tackling this solo, just know it's going to be a serious challenge. But stay tuned to the end for my final summation because I still did have a good time with the game. So there's a little spoiler there. So how does each level work? Before each mission, you pick your loadout, your guns, your equipment. In the first mission, you start outside a building complex and you've got to clear several floors of enemies while keeping at least 4 out of 9 hostages alive. The game really pushes a methodical approach. You move slowly through the hallways and rooms. For example, when you reach a closed door, you press right up against it and you can activate a camera to see what's going on at the other side. So you'll see people, whether they're hostages or enemy, and they'll show up as white symbols. You can mark them on a screen, which I'll come into after, or just go in and deal with them directly. Once alerted to you, enemies are aggressive, intelligent, and will flank you if they spot you. If you die, you've got 2 defib revives, so the game won't pause, it'll carry on, but there'll be a countdown, and if an enemy is close to you when you're revived, you can ultimately shock them and you've got the opportunity to handcuff them instead of killing them. Once you clear the objectives, you locate the exit and move on to the next section. Now, for more tactical planning, the game has what it calls the ACE, or the Assault Coordination Engine mode. You can call this up at any time and you'll see a much more bird's eye version of the map. You can move around, you can tag enemies and you can plan routes. And I think this would be of more value in co-op play, so you can assign paths to your teammates. But again, it adds that extra layer of tactical strategy. So yeah, this game I think absolutely has to be played slow and methodical. Every bullet counts and you just can't go in shooting aimlessly. It's not a run and gun game. So what's great about the game? As I said, it's tactical realistic, so planning plus the intense gunplay is satisfying. There is replayability if you can get past the first level. There are a number of maps and you can then mix up your loadouts with the different weaponry and items, equipment. For an indie game, the graphics are actually quite sharp and it is a good looking game for a top-down simplistic view. And the controls are solid. You know, they are responsive, but no problem with that. So what's not so good? So I'll say it again, solo play is tough. Again, I struggled on the first level. It's not a casual shooter, so success does rely on coordination and precision. So if you're looking for something a bit more laid back, this might frustrate you. And yeah, I think ultimately, for summing up the game, that's where I'm at. So who is the game for? It's going to be perfect for you if you do like the thoughtful shooters. If you've got a gang of friends that you can play with, or happy to dive in with a random squad, and if you value strategy and teamwork over flashy graphics or a story. From my perspective, even though the solo mode absolutely kicked my butt, I still recommend it. I actually really enjoyed it. There were difficult games in the past where I've got annoyed or fed up or dropped it after 20 minutes. But I kept going back because I kept seeing what I could do next or approaching the stage in a different way. So whilst I did have a difficult time with it, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend if you've got a network of people to play with. So check out some videos, have a look online, look into it. But if a tactical, slow thought out shooter is your thing, yeah, this could be for you.